Hi, welcome to the October edition of Nell at Night. This month it will be all about change. I just want to say that I have literally recorded this video about 20 times now, which is so not like me. And I am struggling for the right words to say, so I think this one's going to be the last one. Plus I call myself out. Whenever I call myself out, things just get so much easier and better. So how's your month been? Mine has been very interesting. My months are always very interesting. There's always lots of learning. I don't know about you, but I learn a lot along the way. Still learning, still struggling, still making mistakes, still having some big wins too. You know, there's a couple of those as well. So tonight the topic of change is really relating to actually when we make those changes, how freaking scary it is. I want to acknowledge that, you know, like I talk all about like, how do you turn your life around and how do you create change? And change is amazing. I'm not dissing it, by the way. I'm all for it. And I want to create some space for the other part, though, that I've actually not really talked about. I've talked about fear and I've talked about how we can sabotage ourselves and that inner voice, which is related. But I also want to talk about tonight that, you know, no one said that these changes for the things that you really want are easy. Like if you think that, you know, okay, let's just give an example. Like you want to lose 20 pounds and you want to start exercising, right? Well, it's like a basic thing that a lot of people want to be healthy. You may not want to lose 20 pounds, but most people want to have a healthy lifestyle. And yet their lifestyle wasn't healthy before. And so now they're changing everything and turning it around and actually making it happen, like really doing this work, which is awesome. And it can also be like, wow, things are really different. Like I don't have my go-tos anymore. You know, like I had this whole programming in place to help me cope with life, and now it's not there. Like, what do I do? Because yes, I want change, but now it's actually changed and I don't know. I'm uncomfortable in this place. This is not what I know. So I just want to acknowledge the flip side of change and how like we can want something so bad and yet when we get it, like be horrified because things are so different, right? And I'm talking about that because there's this knowing if that's going to happen, you maybe can work with it a little bit better, right? Knowing that if you're changing your life and things are actually really different, even though you want them to be different and you're still struggling with it, know that that's part of the process. So how do we call ourselves back when things get like uncomfortable and hard because now we're exposed and open to something new. It's almost like being in an environment without any shelter, right? So this lifestyle that you've changed from, let's say you've actually created these changes in your life, this lifestyle that you've actually changed from now allows you to be fully exposed with none of that protective programming that you learned from such a young age. And that's actually why it's so hard for people to change. So in case you're wondering why you may struggle with making changes in your life, the reason is that we've all learned, you're not alone in this, every single person out there has learned how to cope with hardships and challenges that we've been given throughout our life, starting from childhood. And we've absorbed these things that we've learned at a very young age when we're well, between the ages of 0 and 7, we're in this state of like where our unconscious mind is very open and receives information so that we can learn how to deal with life. It receives this information like we're in this theta state, which is where it's a brainwave state that absorbs everything and sort of puts it into our mind and our body and has this backup programming of like how to function. So all of our lives, we've learned this way of coping, and then all of a sudden, right? It's like, hey, I want to do something different. I want to make a difference in my life. And this programming is like, oh, you're not doing that. We got this thing down. Like, we're keeping ourselves safe here, and we're protecting ourselves, and like, don't mess with me. So, so that's why oftentimes people struggle with keeping weight off, or maintaining a lifestyle that's different that they really want, because there's this other part that comes in and says, it's a very sneaky, quiet, subconscious part that comes in and is like, you're not doing this. Like, this is not what we agreed on. I agreed on keeping you safe, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to make you revert back to your old lifestyle. Knowing that whenever you want to adjust or shift a behavior and that it's not going to feel good or comfortable is extremely important in your journey. So this video is to encourage you to be aware of this process, and then guess what, people, you get to work with it, right? So if you know that this process is natural and going to come up while you're going about and making changes, then you can be like, oh yeah, wait a minute. Okay, I'm reverting back to this because this is what I know, and I just need to now reprogram. And by the way, that's totally possible because we have this ability to reprogram and begin to do things differently. I'll save that for maybe another video. And that's not really, we don't really need to talk about that right now, because all you need to know when you go about your journey and making things the way you want them is that this is part of the process. That discomfort and that wanting to revert back to the way things used to be is natural and normal. And give yourself some space for it, right? Allow it to be there. It's okay. It's okay. It's just this little part of you that's saying, hey, I like things the way they were. I knew what they were, and they were safe for me. Okay? So I hope that this video landed for you in the way that it needed to be, and you have a beautiful October. I am nestled up in my office space, super cozy right now, ready to call it a night. I look sleepy. I am sleepy. Okay, I've had lots of busy things going on. Catch me on my podcast. There'll be some deep relaxation and guided visualization on change and welcoming it in and working with that little part of you that wants to keep things the same. I'll also have my podcast talking about change, a little more scientific, and some backup data. And, October's a great month for change, going within. Okay. Namaste, my friends, and have a beautiful, wonderful month. Take care.